A big hello and a very warm welcome to Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. For the first time in a never-before-seen move from the advertising world, we have a first-of-its-kind IPO listing on the Indian stock market. Well, this move has surprised the advertising and marketing community beyond belief. RK Swamy Hansa Group, for the uninitiated, is the largest Indian majority-owned integrated marketing services provider in India, having more than 5 decades of experience offering a single-window solution for creative, media, data analytics and market research services. Well, several questions come to mind and I've decided to put them at bay by talking with the promoters themselves. Please join me in welcoming Shekar Swamy, Group CEO, and Rajeev Newar, Group CFO of RK Swamy Hansa Group. Thank you so much for joining me, Shekar Swamy and Rajeev Newar. Truly a pleasure having you in the Brand Equity studio. Let me first congratulate you on a very, very bold and adventurous move coming from the advertising, marketing, communication space, never seen before. And the fact that you're homegrown makes us even prouder. But I need to start with a few questions, and also the industry is bubbling with these questions. Why an IPO for an organization like RK Swamy Hansa Group?
So first of all, thank you, Sonali. It's great to be here. It's a question we have asked ourselves, and I think there are many layers actually in terms of answers to this. First is, if you look at the market and where we are as an Indian market, it is one of the largest, most complex, most demanding marketing environments in the world. Trust me, it is so. And in this space, we have been motoring for 50 years. And we really need to be getting ready for the next 10, 20, 30 years. We have taken the path that we will be independent. We have created enterprises, we have created disciplines, we have created knowledge base, we have created a band of capacities and capabilities, which are, as you said, homegrown, but I would also add world class. So this is what the country demands, this is what our clients want. And in order to keep this enterprise going, it requires to be on a far greater financial foundation as a starter, because whom are we competing with? We are competing with large multinational groups.
Sure.
It is no secret, everybody knows this. And we have steadfastly refused to go down that path, although we had all the opportunities in the world to do so. So having decided that we want to be an independent and having created these capacities, if you want to now further scale this, and if you really want to compete, then we believe that this is a strategic imperative. So the financial part is a strategic imperative. The second piece is, we need to be investing far more than what we are capable of generating internally. It's not that we are taking dollops of money, we are not. We are extremely muted in the demand, and the capacity augmentation that needs to happen does require a certain infusion of fresh capital. And this is the second piece that is driving us, because there are so many initiatives that we have on the anvil. And the simple question is, people are asking why an IPO? My answer at a lighter vein is, why not an IPO?
Fair enough. I have a couple of rejoinders, but before I get there, if you can give me a sense in terms of how much you've raised so far, and I know you're done and dusted and you've gotten all the money. So just so that my audience and the industry gets a perspective of how much you've actually raised.
So
via different
I require the finance
vehicles.
Person. Yeah.
So the total size is about 423 crores.
Okay.
Break it up into two parts. The offer for sale was about 250 crores and the fresh issue was 173 crores. The 173 crores is basically for 4 specific initiatives. You see, before I talk about the initiatives, let me just share with you that over the past few years, we have grown at a fairly decent pace. We have grown at a CAGR of almost 30%. Our EBITDA margins have grown, our EBITDA has grown. Now, we obviously wanted to enhance our internal capabilities. So if you look at the integrated marketing services space in which we operate, and where we are one of the top 5 in the country, it has got essentially 3 segments. The first segment is obviously the content and communication. The second is basically the analytics, and the third is the market research. So we are creating a digital video studio where we can create these videos. That's for the first segment.
So when you say digital video studio, you essentially mean videos catering to social media?
Videos for our clients.
Yeah, it caters
for dispensation on social media. Okay.
for social media and let's say to the larger digital ecosystem.
Okay.
So that's one. The second thing is, as far as the analytics and the research space is concerned, we have grown, and that whole space is supported by a marketing infrastructure. Now, since we have grown at a certain pace, we are almost maxing out the internal capacity that we have currently. So we want to double that space, double that marketing infrastructure capacity. So that's the second. The third is that if you look at this business, clearly it's talent driven, but the other aspect that drives this business is also technology. So the third spend is towards technology refresh. So building certain technological capabilities. That doesn't mean we are acquiring platforms, but we are improving our technological infrastructure here. That's the third. And the fourth is obviously working capital, because we have a couple of initiatives other than what we have listed out as objects as well, which are business initiatives. And to further those business initiatives, we will be applying some of this working capital and for some of those initiatives. And I think Shekar is the best person to explain to you what those initiatives are.
Sure.
So there are a bunch of them, and good ones, if I may say so. We just launched at the end of World Cup. We launched the RK Swamy Center for Study of Indian Markets. As the games were going on, we studied all 12 India matches ka audience profile, and we did a pretty extensive original primary research on the recall of brands on all those games. Now, there were 200 brands that have advertised in that particular event. Some 4,000 crores of money has been spent.
Yeah.
Okay, we know who won the World Cup as a sport. Which team, which country won the World Cup? If I ask you a question, which brand won the World Cup? What is the answer?
I don't know.
That's the point. So the brands need to know. Did you score in that clutter? So studies like this are fundamental. The media companies don't do it for their own reasons. The individual brands are not capable of mounting studies at this scale. So we said, here is a space. So this kind of original work is what the study of the center will do. And we have 20 ideas like this.
Okay.
And we'll continue to study large properties.
Got it.
And so there is a media marketplace, there is a consumer marketplace. Marry the two, and you have a stream of data that needs to come out, which needs to shed light on how to enhance marketing effectiveness. So this is one piece. The second piece is a brand and marketing consulting group. For years, we have been doing consulting. Consulting comes at the top end of the funnel, if you will. A lot of the money is spent in the execution piece. So clients often come to us and say, what new product should we do? What kind of brand extensions make sense? Which areas of the country should we go into? If I am a brand which is fading, how do I put the sparkle back on the brand?
Sure.
So what are there are a lot of consulting work that happens in this space. Look at our competence. We can do the communications piece, which means there is a certain glimpse into the Indian consumer we have, and this is institutionalized over a long period of time. We have the data collection piece. Last year alone, we did 1,200 reports from a market research standpoint. So data and insight needs to be generated. Look at what we have done in the customer analytics space. We are the only people who invested long before anybody even thought about data. We created a data analytics organization, and it is operating at scale. So you marry all these three, you add a layer of brand competence, and you have a pretty good mix which can help clients do better and better as far as their strategies are concerned. So brand and marketing strategy group is very essential. So whatever we do, you can call as a one-trick pony actually. That trick is marketing.
Got it. When you're talking about this whole consultancy bit, where it's serious consultancy, where brands and clients come to you to kind of get your insights into what next, that piece is pretty much dominated by the traditional consultants and not so much by integrated marketing communications company, right? And we've seen that, and it's been a struggle for the industry, I would say, to kind of scale up and take, stride in a manner where, CEOs will take you seriously and will have this brainstorming discussion. We've struggled with it, which is why the Deloittes of the world and all the others have queued up to kind of eat this pie. What makes you think you'll be successful in this?
It's a great question, and I was hoping you would ask me this. We can go toe to toe with any of these people for the reasons I just outlined. They are broad-based consultants. We will be deeply focused in marketing. And in this space of marketing, let me give you a fact. A lot of the work, a lot of these consulting companies are clients of ours. And we are doing the data collection and data insights from a consumer marketplace point of view for many of these companies. We are white labeled, meaning our name is not there, but they use the information. So it is very, I won't say it is a natural thing, but we have to play at the higher end of the value game. We have the competence, we have the inclination, we have knowledge of the market, and we have the capacity in terms of the capabilities. We have created half a dozen marketing or specifically targeted brand protocols in terms of research, in terms of how we can move this needle forward. So some of these things we'll bring out over time. So the reason why the traditional model doesn't work from a consulting standpoint is because the traditional model is heavily focused on marketing execution. So when I say marketing execution, it's a very challenging task in itself. You're doing the campaigns, you're doing the analytics, you're doing the research. So it in itself is highly demanding. So within that framework, to add a layer of consulting usually is a tough ask. What we are proposing to do is to create a specific group devoted to this. In the traditional advertising, so we created the customer analytics piece some years ago. We didn't put it in the traditional agency structure. That structure has evolved now after we have seen that progress. So likewise, we will create a separate structure for the brand and marketing consulting group. There's enough work. From a demand side, I have no doubt there is enough work.
Can you give me a sense, and I've got your, your profitability, your revenue figures and your profitability figures over the last 3 years or so. If I look at your last, revenue figure, it stands at about 292 crores, right? Can you give me the division in terms of the ratio that comes from these three areas, and if there's any other vertical that I've probably missed out?
Yeah. So if you look at the integrated marketing communication space piece, that's about 50% of our total top line.
When you say integrated communications, you're talking about advertising, campaigns, execution.
Perfect, Sonali. So that's about 50%.
50%.
The balance constitutes the rest of the 50%.
Okay.
More or less 27% for 23 was analytics and 23% was research. So more or less equal.
Okay.
So that's really the space. In terms of profitability, overall at a blended average is about 21%. And they have all of these percentages have been growing. Just to give you a sense that 2 years ago, we were at 16% blended average. 1 year ago, that is in 2022, we were about 18%. 2023, we were at 21%.
You've given me the reasons of why IPO and what you plan to do with those funds. My question is, Shekar, why not have just gone into the private investment mode, or have done a strategic partnership with some of companies who are looking to enter India? I mean, you did it with BBDO, and it was a long-standing equation. I believe they divested only as late as 2022. So why go through this route?
We are not in the private equity mode. We understand that game, and we have assessed it, and we have decided that's not for us. We have to be mindful that the agenda for this organization is to be driven by the people who are professionally oriented. It's not to be financially oriented. It's very important. So, we don't want to be driven by some private equity having an agenda and what they do, and I don't have any comments on that. We are not necessarily a branch of a foreign company. We don't want to be that. Strategically, we want to put a huge primary focus on Indian clients and Indian-oriented clients. It's not that we are not interested in multinational. There's a big difference strategically. But the important thing is the holding companies are primarily interested in their multinational clients.
True.
That's the reason they are here. They are not here to put a primary focus on the Indian clients. What a fantastic opportunity we have. Strategically, think about it. Our best talent works on Indian brands and businesses. Sorry to say, the best talent of the holding companies' networks works on the multinational companies. You make your choice.
So I've understood why you don't want private equity. I've understood why you don't want a strategic partner, right? But Shekar, and I'm happy for you to come in here, there is this quarter se quarter tak pressure, which every listed company kind of faces, and we are seeing that trend with a lot of all the consumer facing companies that I talk to. Everybody is so tunnel visioned for that quarter, and I'm assuming the same will now happen to you. So long term vision, even medium term vision kind of goes on to the back burner because your quarterly results will have to look green.
In this whole process we would have met up with several funds and several senior officials in those funds, okay? And the sense that we have is that all of them understand this business space in which they are investing. They understand that yes, they need to look at a quarter-on-quarter numbers, but they also will be mindful of how this business is going to be performing over a period of time. Because in this business is a service business.
Yes.
The fact is, if you look at the last couple of years, we have grown at a certain pace. We are creating our ability to run ahead going forward as well. But the fact is that none of them actually have told us that they're going to look at quarter-on-quarter results are going to be there, but they're also going to be compared with quarter-on-quarter of the previous corresponding quarter of the previous year. So that's the growth that you will have to kind of demonstrate and show from time to time.
I would say this. We should not be thinking quarter on quarter, but we should be thinking, and we do, by the way, we should be thinking 6 months, 12 months, 18 months ahead.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Every initiative you take is going to take you a period of time before it matures, before it gels into an overall system and starts producing the financial metrics. That is not stopping us from putting the money in right now. And this is an advantage that RK Swamy has.
If you look at all the traditional agencies, right, in the Indian market, or even, the new age ones which have come, each one seems to have a glamorous face, creative face, to kind of ensure that it seduces clients. Where is your glamorous face? I mean, I know you and Srinivas and Swamy are most definitely glamorous men.
We are certainly, I think there will be a lot of disagreement on the glamour. No, we have eschewed that. We don't believe, okay, I'll tell you, we have fantastic creative people.
But they're not high profile.
You don't need high profile. And this is what we have. Look, RK Swamy goes against the grain. We have gone against the grain in this IPO. We have gone against the grain in creating the capacities and disciplines that we have. We have gone against the grain in the way we run the business.
Contrarian.
We are a different company. We are not listening. We are not chasing somebody else's agenda. That's the main point I keep repeating. So when you are clear of what we want to do, whom are we working with? We work with large brands. We work with large corporates. We work with large groups. We work with large institutions. Are they looking for a glamour face, or are they looking for somebody who is constantly there, terribly relevant, fantastically efficient, and totally reliable?
Your IPO is actually done. Give me some numbers in terms of what you've raised already. And my adjoinder to that is, people who have subscribed to you, for them this is an absolutely new space, because we've not seen this kind of companies and this profile actually getting onto the Indian bourses. What is your promise to them?
Sonali, what is our business? Our business is professional services. We live and die by the quality of the professional service we provide. So our promise to the investor is not a number. Our promise to the investor is that we will stay true to the quality of professional service that we need to provide.
How would you assess, as somebody who is quite a veteran in this space, how would you assess the health of the industry at the moment?
On the aggregate, the health of the industry is good because there's a lot of vibrancy in many levels. One, though, I mean, the category is growing, all of those investments are happening, all that is fine. There are lots of new players. There's a lot of energy actually in terms of new players who have come in. So that's a very good sign. Those who can make the adjustments required for the current world in terms of the digital world and in terms of the fragmentation of media and audiences and so on and so forth, those who have adjusted well continue to thrive. In any industry, if I don't make those adjustments and if I'm not frankly making the investments required, then I will falter at some point. So I think at an overall level, the growth rates are good. The market is dynamic. India is
the ADEX that we just closed, and look at the projection. I mean, the projection is still, I would say, slightly optimistic. But if you looked at what we closed 2023 with, and if you look at the Pitch Madison report as, let's say, something which gives us that direction, our growth rate has actually dimmed quite a bit. We've only grown at 10%. As opposed to what was expected at 16%. It's also being touted as the lowest growth rate we've seen in 6 years.
That's quite all right. If you compare this, you're still talking double digit, by the way.
You're going to compare it to Western countries?
No. I'm not comparing to Western countries. You see, you taking me somewhere else.
Okay.
But if you want, I'll go there as well.
No, it's fine.
Stay within the sector. The sector is growing at double digit.
But look at the
base. Let me finish. Let me finish. Sector is growing at double digit. Your consumer industries are growing in single digit.
Yes.
Okay. So we are actually going at double their rate to start with. Therefore, they look at it and say, yeah, 10-12% looks damn good from where I am sitting. So the growth rate is there. That is one piece of it. The second piece of it is look at the diversity of the market. I'll paint a larger picture. How many countries, how many states in the country today are saying we want to be $1 trillion economy? There are at least 6, 7, 8 of them. Okay, there are not that many $1 trillion economies in Western Europe. So look at the growth rate in the overall environment. Our sector has always grown double the GDP rate of growth. So I believe we will get there. So it's all a function of what the economy is.
And maybe one more point, I don't know, Shekar, if you want to allude to that, the shift towards the digital at scale, because that's a subset of the overall growth percentage, which is growing at a much faster pace.
Digital.
So if people are spending 10, what is the proportion of the 10 that they were spending on digital content earlier, and what is the proportion they're spending now? And that's the space that we would like to navigate in.
Also, I want to salute both you and Srinivasan Swamy, who couldn't be here. Both your ambitions and your ambition levels. You've decided to do this now at this point in time. What is the succession plan you have?
I said something to you earlier. We are a professional services company. A professional services company will be led by the best professional you can find. It's a succession plan derives or is drawn from that point. We have a great depth. You don't think Sundar and Shekar are not the ones necessarily running this group. We have you can call me anything. The fact is that there are 60 people at a minimum that we have identified as key drivers of this group. They're all professional and they do a fantastic job. And we believe that the leadership can emerge from any of that or it can emerge from elsewhere. But I can tell you one thing, the leadership will be a worthy professional leader.
Okay, so there is no succession plan within the family happening.
The family is going to be the largest stakeholder from an investor point of view. Sure. The family is deeply interested to ensure that those large investments are well taken care of. The family would welcome a family member to take charge. Sure. But if the family member is not forthcoming or is not the right person or whatever the case may be, then if it needs to be somebody else, that may be also considered. So there is we have not taken any call on this. There is no reason to.
Sure. Well, lots of luck to all of you and the company as it attempts to soar to greater heights via this public offering. And hopefully we'll see a lot more homegrown agencies kind of get inspired and see your bravado and kind of list on the bourses, and we see your stock going to very high places. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sonali.
Thank you.
Both of you. Truly a pleasure and a wonderful, wonderful conversation and insights from you. Thank you.